It feels illegal to know this, but you can literally profit from market gaps that your competitors are too lazy to fill. Now, I'm talking about the next big thing, market gap arbitrage. I scroll through YouTube and I laugh. Everybody's fighting for scraps, trying to sell SMMA, AI automations, partner with influencers, AI this, AI that. And then I see my clients and I, who are literally just hijacking these untapped gaps that your competitors don't even see yet and using them to scale to 20, 50, even hundreds of $1,000s a month. So let me show you how market gap arbitrage works. But first, let me break down some proof here. We got Eric Moniz, who was struggling at $8,000 a month, took advantage of this, and a couple of weeks later was at $63,000 a month. We have another Eric here who started with us at zero, but then scaled that up to $40,000 over 40 days, just a few months later. We have Mashari, who came to us at 18 years old at $2K a month. Once again, took advantage of this. Just a few months later, he was at $50,000 a month. Now he's on track to do $70,000 this month. And lastly, we have Dennis here, who's just a young kid from another country and took advantage of this to collect 25K in just 8 days. Now, are those some of the good results? Yes. And are you guaranteed to get results like that? No. And truthfully, because most of you guys aren't going to succeed in business no matter what you do. But if you take the time to watch this video in full, take notes in the process, and then actually do something about it, your odds of succeeding are way bigger than if you don't. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand is that if you want to scale fast and easy, you need to sell something that is in high demand and people really want to buy it. Now, you can either find things that are in high demand, or you can create your own demand around what it is that you do. But creating demand takes a lot of work and is very hard to do. And I say that as somebody who does that every single day. My marketing agency, Catalyst Holdings, does about $300,000 a month, but we target agency owners and B2B online service providers, a very saturated market. And as a result, I have to post all this YouTube content. We have to run ads. I have to give so much value for free. I have lead magnets. I have all this stuff to create demand around working with me for that company to grow. Alternatively, some of the companies that we own that are bigger than Catalyst Holdings, they generate more revenue on a monthly basis. Nobody knows who I am. They don't see my face. I'm not on any of the ads. We have no complex funnels. We have simple outreach or simple lead form ads that will run, and they will outperform Catalyst Holdings. All because those other companies take advantage of market gap arbitrage. So here is the problem and why it is so hard for you to scale your business right here. Okay, so this is a basic supply and demand curve, which you should have learned in basically elementary school. I think it is, maybe middle school. All right, so let me break down first the problem and why you're finding it so hard to scale without taking advantage of market gap arbitrage. So this is a basic supply and demand curve, which you should be somewhat familiar with. We have demand over here, we have supply over here, and then we have you right here selling most likely to one of the super common and saturated industries. We got like real estate, or maybe you're doing info, maybe you're partnering with other agency owners, helping them sell courses, you're doing AI automate, whatever the case may be. The things that you see on YouTube every single day, those are probably the things that you shouldn't be doing because they have 100,000 views on the video you're watching. And guess what? That single video alone has wiped out the demand, because what those videos do that you watch, right? All those videos, all those views that you're getting, what are they doing? Well, they're skyrocketing the supply. When 500,000 people watch a video on how to start an AI automation agency and to target med spas or auto detailing or other agency owners, right? Well, guess what? Now you have maybe a tenth of that, right? That is actively going to be your competition, right? And that is alone to single-handedly wipe out the demand with a new influx of supply. And as you can see, as supply gets way up here, what happens is if you come down here, demand skyrockets all the way to the floor. And then as a result, right, that means in typical sense is that the only way to sell in that market is to have a very low price, right? And then what happens is that you sell an offer that's in very low demand for a very low price, and it's very hard to scale. So in this case, you really have only two options to get these offers off the ground and to really start printing cash with them. Number one is to sell cheap and offer free trials or offer very low ticket, but that is a nightmare, right? Those are nightmare clients. Those are super hard to scale. You need so many clients to make it work, and it requires a lot of skill and experience in order to scale one of those businesses. Or the other option is to create demand the hard way by posting content and to have elaborate funnels and to do lead magnet and super complex VSLs to fabricate the demand around working with you, right? But that's not very fun. It's so much more fun and it's so much easier if you don't have to do any of this and you can just do a little bit of email outreach or do a little bit of DM outreach or run some low budget ads and make the same amount of money. Like, why would you not do that? So the best option, which is the third option, which is to come down here, which is when you find offers that have very low supply with still the demand to solve that problem, right? So with some examples of this are agricultural land brokers. You've probably never heard about that, and that's a good thing. Those are people who buy and sell farmland, right? You can run simple Facebook ads for them and you have no competition, right? You don't have to make crazy offers and you just do simple Facebook ads and those offers can really print. Medical SaaS, custom welding, freight brokers. These are all some examples of some offers and some niches and some markets that don't have any supply in it right now, right? And as a result, the demand is super high. And what happens is when the supply is super low, the demand goes way up and then you have this high demand. So it's easy to sell. You can sell at these high price points. You have very easy fulfillment because you have no competition. You're not competing against guys that have a lot more money and a lot more skill than you and can build better services than you, right? You're not competing against them anymore. And as a result, it's so much easier to scale. Okay, so now you might be wondering like, okay, I get it. How do we actually do this? Like, how do we actually find these markets and these opportunities? And what if I don't know how to fulfill for them already? Well, I'm going to answer all of those questions right here using ChatGPT in the next 5 minutes or less. All you have to do is you come on to ChatGPT. You say, hey, So I just came up with a simple prompt here. I know how to run Facebook ads to generate leads. I'm looking for an industry that has very low competition to sell Facebook ad service, meaning most people overlook it and there's little to no agencies or freelancers offering Facebook ad services to this niche. I also need to make sure there's at least 50,000 of them in North America. They also need to have a high purchasing power and make a lot of money so they can afford my service. And lastly, it should be super easy for me to get them leads with Facebook ads. Hit enter. All right, so now that it's loaded here, it's given us a bunch of these markets that we can use market gap arbitrage to take advantage of, right? We got specialty medical clinics here, right? If you keep scrolling down here, we got private education and enrichment centers. We have an offer right now that's ripping from one of our client in daycares. You've probably never thought about that. Specialty home services like uncommon trades, not plumbers and roofers, but greenhouse builders, right? Ever heard of that? No, probably a good idea, right? Because as I was saying earlier, right, when you see these YouTube videos with 500,000 people that have already watched it, well then boom, supply and demand gone, right? But you've never seen a YouTube video where somebody's talking about how they've scaled targeting greenhouse builders. That's exactly why. It's exactly what you want to be doing because the demand is already there and these guys aren't comparing themselves against 10 other people or comparing you against 10 other people. And then you have to like create your own demand. The just demand's there and they have no other options but to work with you. Immigration lawyers, right? Getting down high-end pet services, dog trainers, pet boarding, all that kind of stuff. So now the next thing that I'll do is I'll simply come down here, make me a table, ranking each one, put the most weight towards little competition. And then what it'll do is it'll just rank them for you and it'll just tell you the best one, right? So in this case, we got the specialty home services, the specialty medical clinics, and the private education and enrichment centers as your top niches. Right now, all of these niches can be simply serviced by basic Facebook ads or basic Google ads. You don't need a complex service because you're not competing against guys that have way more money and way more skill than you. Problem is that when you're competing against the niches that you're at right now, the guys you're competing against have more money than you, more case studies than you, more experience than you, and more skills than you. And it's super hard, but they're not in these niches. So you can go in there with your weaker and less talented abilities and still print with them. So then all you need to do is once you have this, then you can use a software like Instantly or something like that, right? You just go on there, you scrape a bunch of leads, right? Going after these niches, and then you just simply make your offer, right? You don't even need to be that good at copywriting because they don't get offered this and they need this service. Like that's the thing. It's like these people need this service. These people aren't pitched this, right? These people don't get pitched. They're like, I don't have clients. I need more deals, right? Nobody cold emails them, right? Because nobody does this. And then you go to them and say, hey, I will help you get more clients. I'll link the video right here on how we do cold emails so we can fully break that down. But then that's all you need to do. And this is how we have all of these clients and ourselves that are making so much more money and scaling so much faster and easier than the ones following the traditional and saturated routes that you're seeing on YouTube. Now, if you want help with this, if you want us to do this for you, first link in your bio. If you have any questions about this video, leave a comment below and I'll see you in the next one.